Kraven the Hunter is a 2024 American superhero film based on the Marvel Comics character. It is the sixth film in Sony's Spider-Man universe, SU. Aaron Taylor Johnson stars as Kraven, alongside Ariana DeBose, Fred Hechinger, Alessandro Nivola, Christopher Abbott, and Russell Crowe. Directed by J.C. Chandor and written by Richard Wenk, Art Markham, and Matt Holloway, the film explores Kraven's relationship with his father and his path to becoming the greatest hunter. Kraven was considered for film appearances several times before Sony Pictures became interested in a standalone film for the character, as part of its new shared universe, in mid-2017. Wenk was hired in August 2018, and Chandor entered negotiations to direct in August 2020, and was confirmed in May 2021 when Taylor Johnson was cast. Filming took place from late March until mid-June in London, Iceland, and Glasgow. Following 2 years of delays, Kraven the Hunter was released in the United States on December 13, 2024, by Sony Pictures Releasing. The film was a box office failure, grossing $62 million worldwide against a $110 to $130 million budget and received negative reviews from critics. Following its release, Sony halted development on further SU films. Plot: following the death of his mother, Sergei Kravinoff, and his half-brother Dmitry are taken by their father Nikolai Kravinoff to prepare to take over his drug trafficking operations. During a hunting trip in Ghana, Sergei is injured protecting his brother from a lion. The lion then brings him to a girl named Calypso, who heals him with a serum and calls for help, leaving a tarot card behind. Sergei discovers his physical attributes have become animalistic. When Nikolai reveals he killed the lion, a disgusted Sergei flees to an animal sanctuary owned by his mother in Russia. 16 years later, Sergei, now going by Kraven, is a vigilante who hunts crime. After killing an arms trafficker in a Russian prison, Kraven travels to London for Dmitry's birthday. Their reunion is short-lived when mercenaries abduct Dmitry. When Nikolai refuses to pay the ransom, Kraven tracks down Calypso, now a lawyer, for help. Meanwhile, Dmitry meets the man behind his kidnapping, Alexei Saitsevic, who took part in an experiment granting him the strength and visage of a rhinoceros, and proposes an alliance to overthrow Nikolai. Alexei lures him to a Turk monastery, but Kraven survives the ambush. Alexei hires the foreigner, an assassin who uses ocular hypnosis to disorient targets, to kill Kraven. Tracking Kraven and Calypso to his sanctuary, Alexei and the foreigner ambush Kraven. Drugging him with neurotoxin, the foreigner attacks Kraven but Calypso kills him with archery and revives Kraven. He then uses Cape buffaloes to trap Alexei, who, despite turning into the rhino and briefly overpowering Kraven, is killed. Discerning that Nikolai was the one who revealed his existence to Alexei, Kraven tracks his father for answers. Nikolai reveals that he knew Alexei was targeting him and manipulated his sons to remove him. Kraven steals ammunition and lets his father get killed by a Kamchatka brown bear. 1 year later, Kraven visits Dmitry and is shocked that he has willingly inherited their father's criminal empire. Having gained shape-shifting abilities from the doctor who experimented on Alexei, Dmitry reveals this to Kraven and states that despite his claims of being morally superior, he and Nikolai were the same. At home, Kraven finds a note from Nikolai along with a vest made from the skin of the lion Nikolai killed long ago, which he puts on. Cast: Aaron Taylor Johnson plays Kraven. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Sergei Kravinoff / Kraven the Hunter. A hunter-gatherer. 6'7" Taylor Johnson described his take on the character as an apex predator and a conservationist but not a poacher. 8'9" A protector of the natural world, and an animal lover. 10. Levi Miller portrays a young Sergei. 11. Ariana DeBose as Calypso as Eli, a voodoo priestess and lawyer who aids Kraven. 12-13. Diana Bobnikova plays young Calypso. Fred Hechinger as Dmitry Kravinoff / Chameleon, Kraven's estranged half-brother who is a master of disguise, capable of mimicking others' voices. 14-15. Billy Barrett portrays a young Dmitri. Alessandro Nivola as Alexei Saitsevic/Rhino, a Russian mercenary who can transform into a human rhinoceros hybrid and controls the transformation using a serum. 1617. Christopher Abbott as the Foreigner, an assassin who uses ocular hypnosis to slow time and is hired by Alexei. 18. Russell Crowe as Nikolai Kravinoff, Kraven's estranged father, and a ruthless crime lord and drug trafficker. 1617-19. Murat Seven as Omer Özdemir, a Turkish assassin hired by Alexei. Yuri Kolokonikov as Semyon Gurny, a Russian crime lord Kraven encounters in prison. Tom Reed as Bird, Alexei's second-in-command. Additionally, Masha Vasyukova appears as Kraven's mother. Guillaume Delaunay plays Mofo, a large and intimidating prisoner who becomes Kraven's cellmate. Production. Development. Director Sam Raimi planned to include the Marvel Comics character Kraven the Hunter in his fourth Spider-Man film before that project was cancelled in favor of The Amazing Spider-Man, 2012, a reboot of the franchise. 20 Sony Pictures announced plans in December 2013 for The Amazing Spider-Man 2, 2014, to establish a shared universe inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, based on the Marvel properties they held the rights to. 21 Kraven was teased in that film. 22 with its director Mark Webb expressing interest in seeing the character appear on film. 23. In February 2015, Sony and Marvel Studios announced a new partnership to co-produce the film Spider-Man: Homecoming, 2017, and integrate the Spider-Man character with Marvel's MCU. 24 In May 2017, Sony announced its own shared universe. 25 Later named Sony's Spider-Man Universe, SU. 26 Sony intended this to be adjunct to their MCU Spider-Man films. 27 Featuring Spider-Man related properties beginning with Venom, 2018. 25 The studio was considering a Kraven film for the universe. 28 Simultaneously, director Ryan Coogler hoped to include the character in his MCU film Black Panther, 2018, because of a fight between Black Panther and Kraven in Christopher Priest's Black Panther comic book run. 29 Due to the film's outline being based on Priest's run, Coogler asked Marvel if they could use Kraven due to his admiration for Spider-Man, the animated series, 1994 to 1998. Marvel asked Sony for permission to use the character, but Sony declined. 30. Richard Wenk was hired to write a screenplay for Kraven the Hunter in August 2018, a month after the successful release of Sony's The Equalizer 2, 2018, which he wrote. The project was billed as the next chapter of Sony's shared universe. 731 Wenk was tasked with introducing Kraven to audiences and figuring out which character he could hunt in the film, since Spider-Man, considered to be Kraven's white whale in the comic books, was unlikely to appear due to the MCU deal. Whether the film would target adult audiences would depend on the audience response to Venom's darker approach. 7. In October, Wenk said he was cracking the story and tone of the film before beginning scripting. He intended to adhere to the character's comic book lore, including by featuring Kraven fighting Spider-Man. Wenk said Sony intended to adapt the Kraven's Last Hunt, 1987, comic book storyline, and there were ongoing discussions over whether to do that in this film or a later one. Wenk compared the latter approach to the two-part film Kill Bill, 2003/2004. He expressed interest in having Equalizer director Antoine Fuqua join the film. Fuqua considered directing Sony's Marvel-based film Morbius, 2022, and would decide on directing Kraven based on the script. 32 Sony confirmed that a film featuring Kraven was in development in March 2019. 33. John Watts, the director of Homecoming and its sequel Spider-Man: Far From Home, 2019, expressed interest in featuring Kraven in a potential third Spider-Man film set within the MCU. 34 Watts pitched a film pitting Peter Parker/Spider-Man against Kraven to Spider-Man star Tom Holland, but this idea was abandoned in favor of the multiversal story of Spider-Man, No Way Home, 2021. 35. By August 2020, Art Markham and Matt Holloway had rewritten the script, after doing uncredited rewrites for Morbius. 36-37 At that time, J.C. Chandor entered talks to direct the film 36 while Matt Tolmach, Avi Arad, and David Householder were set as producers. 36-38 Chandor was confirmed as director in May 2021, when Aaron Taylor Johnson was cast to star as Kraven 6 and signed on to portray the character in multiple films. 6 Sony had previously approached actors such as Brad Pitt, Keanu Reeves, John David Washington and Adam Driver for the role. 39 With Lewis Pullman also auditioning. 40 But Sony executives moved quickly to cast Taylor Johnson after they were blown away by early footage of him in the film Bullet Train, 2022. Taylor Johnson began negotiations shortly after an initial phone call with Chandor and Tolmach. 41 42 43 By July, Jodie Turner-Smith was reportedly in talks to portray Kraven's love interest, Calypso. 44. That October, Holland said he and Pascal had discussed him potentially reprising his role as Spider-Man in the film. 45 Neither Holland nor his character appeared in the finished film, according to a Sony source who spoke to Variety. The Walt Disney Company, which held the rights to the MCU, never forbade Sony from using Holland or the Peter Parker/Spider-Man character, with the character appearing in the Sony Pictures animation feature film Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, 2018, but Sony felt that audiences would not accept Holland's live-action Spider-Man unexpectedly appearing in a non-MCU film. Especially after No Way Home and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, 2022, established definitive boundaries for the MCU. 46. The film was greenlit with a production budget of $90 million, but due to the 2023 writers and actors strike the costs increased. The final cost was reportedly as high $130 million, but Variety disputed this figure, estimating it cost upward of $110 million. 3. Pre-production. Russell Crowe was cast in an undisclosed role in early February 2022. The Hollywood Reporter noted that many of the main characters in the film would be members of Kraven's family, with Crowe potentially portraying Kraven's father. 19 By then, Cody Smith-McPhee had been offered the role of Chameleon, Kraven's half-brother, but declined due to a scheduling conflict. 47 Turner-Smith was also confirmed to have not been cast as Calypso. 48 Later in February, Fred Heckinger joined the cast, reportedly as Chameleon. 14 In March, Ariana DeBose joined the cast, reportedly in the Calypso role. 12 Alessandro Nivola was cast as a villain. 49 And Christopher Abbott was cast as the film's main villain, which was reported to be The Foreigner. 18 Nivola said he joined the film to work with Chandor again after a most violent year, 2014. 50 Taylor Johnson was preparing for stunt training with Chandor in England, just outside of London, for the following couple of weeks. 51. Filming. Filming occurred in Iceland in early February 2022. 52-53 at Lake Mybaton, using the working title Safari. 52 True North Productions handled the production services. 52-54 with an 80-person crew involved in the shooting over 2 days. 52 Principal photography began on March 20, 2022. 55 in London, England, under the working title Spiral. 56 Ben Davis served as cinematographer after doing so for several MCU films. 53-57 Better Source needed Levi Miller joined the cast in April. 58 And DeBose confirmed that she was portraying Calypso in the film a month later when she had already been filming in London. 13 In mid-June, Taylor Johnson revealed that he had wrapped filming and stated that the film was shot entirely on location 10, which he said added something really beautiful to the personal story, and called it important for the authenticity of the character. 43 Nivola also wrapped filming at that time. 59 And said the character's physical abilities in the film were grounded in reality, while Chandor described it as depicting the most incredible Olympic athlete you've ever seen. 50 Filming also took place in Glasgow, Scotland. 53. Post-production. In August 2022, Nivola stated that the film would include a time jump and that his character would only physically transform in the final act, so he was not required to do extensive green screen work. He described it as a classic villain role with complex psychology and personal history to draw on. 50 The following month, Heckinger confirmed that he was portraying Dmitry Smerdyakov/Chameleon. 15 Later in September, the film's release date was delayed to October 6, 2023, from January 13, 2023. 60 In April 2023, Crowe and Nivola were confirmed to be respectively portraying Kraven's father and the character Rhino. Taylor Johnson confirmed that the film would receive an R rating by the Motion Picture Association, the first Sue film and the first Spider-Man related project overall to do so. 6116 Due to the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike in July, the film's release date was delayed to August 30, 2024. 62 In August 2023, the film's final writing credits were given. Wenck received sole credit for the story and shared credit for the screenplay with Markham and Holloway, while off-screen additional literary credit was given to Donny Cates, Chris Bremner, Chandor, Adama Ebo, Adon Ebo, Zach Olkiewicz, and Oren Uziel. 63. In April 2024, the film's release date was further delayed to December 13, 2024. 64 To avoid competition from other franchise films releasing around the prior August date. Toll Match also attributed the release delay as a strategic reflection of Sony's excitement for the film. 65 Chandor felt that the delays allowed him to sharpen the characters and tighten the plot, deeming the reshoots strategic and effective. Despite the disastrous underperformance of Madame Web, 2024, Sony felt optimistic that Kraven the Hunter would be more in line with the Venom films, with Chandor opining that the film would surprise the audience once it released. 66 Chris Levinson serves as the film's editor. 67. Music. Main article, Kraven the Hunter, soundtrack. Benjamin Wallfish was hired in June 2023 to compose the score for the film. 68 Sometime later, Sasha and Evgeny Galperin were added as composers. 69. Marketing. Sony debuted the first footage from the film in a showreel of the studio's upcoming films at Cinemacan in April 2022. 70 The first trailer was showcased during Sony's panel at Cinemacan in April 2023. 16 On June 19, 2023, the trailer leaked online and was subsequently followed by the official poster and a red band trailer the same day. 71 72 38 The second trailer was released on August 14, 2024, featuring the song The Man Comes Around, 2002, by Johnny Cash. Ellis Schaefer of Variety said Kraven shows no mercy in the trailer with his gruesome methods, feeling it transforms Kraven from your average hitman into the fur-wearing bada the character is known as in the comics. 73 In November, a commercial aired during the 2024 NFL season featuring members of the Baltimore Ravens, particularly kicker Justin Tucker, who suggested renaming the team the Baltimore Cravens. 74 Sony Pictures released the first 8 minutes of the film on its YouTube channel on December 2. Bradley Russell at Total Film felt releasing the footage for free a week ahead of the film's release was a surprise, but also believed it was a bold tactic that might just sell audiences to watch the film. 75. Release. Theatrical. Kraven the Hunter was theatrically released in the United States on December 13, 2024, in IMAX and Premium Large Formats, PLFs. 64 It was previously scheduled for release on January 13, 2023, 6 October 6, 2023, 60, and August 30, 2024. 62. Home media. Kraven the Hunter was released on digital download on January 14, 2025, and on 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and DVD on March 4, by Sony Pictures Home Entertainment. 476 It was released on Netflix in the US on March 13. 77. In the United States, Kraven the Hunter ranked number 1 on Fandango's VOD chart and number 2 on iTunes for the week of January 13th to 19th. The film held the top spot on iTunes for its first 3 days before moving to second place. 78. It later ranked 3rd in overall disc sales and 4th on the Blu-ray sales chart for the week ending March 8th. High-definition formats made up 47% of its total sales, with 45% from standard Blu-ray and 2% from 4K Ultra HD. 79. The film was later number 4 on both the Circana Video Scan First Alert chart and the Blu-ray sales chart for the week ending March 15th. 80. Kraven the Hunter ranked number 36 on the top-selling titles on disc, DVD and Blu-ray combined, of 2025. It recorded a sales index of 16.55 relative to the year's top-selling title. Blu-ray formats accounted for 44% of total unit sales, including a 6% share from 4K Ultra HD. 81. In the United Kingdom, Kraven the Hunter climbed 5 spots to re-enter the UK's official film chart top 10 for the week ending March 20th, having previously peaked at number 5. 82. On Netflix, Kraven the Hunter reached number 1 on the top 10 movies in the United States chart as of March 14th. 83. The film later garnered 7.1 million views and 15 million hours viewed on the platform, placing it behind The Electric State and Plankton, the movie. 84. 85. Analytics company Samba TV, which gathers viewership data from certain smart TVs and content providers, reported that the film was the 6th most streamed title from March 10th to 16th. 86. 87. Nielsen Media Research, which records streaming viewership on certain American television screens, calculated that Kraven the Hunter was streamed for 911 million minutes during the week of March 10th to 16th, ranking as the 3rd most streamed film and the 8th most streamed program overall. 88. 89. In the following week, from March 17th to 23rd, the film recorded 706 million minutes of watch time, making it the 5th most streamed film for that period. 1991. From March 24th to 30th, Kraven the Hunter was streamed for 336 million minutes, remaining the 5th most streamed film of the week. 92-93. Between January and June 2025, it accumulated a total of 2.968 billion minutes streamed, ranking as the 11th most streamed film in that period. 94-95. For the full year, Kraven the Hunter was watched for 3.67 billion minutes, placing 9th among the most streamed films for general audiences in 2025. 96-97. Reception. Box office. Kraven the Hunter grossed $25 million in the United States and Canada, and $37 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $62 million. 4/5 Deadline Hollywood calculated the film lost the studio $71 million, when factoring together all expenses and revenues. 98. In the United States and Canada, Kraven the Hunter was released alongside The Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim, and was projected to gross $13 to $15 million from 3,211 theaters in its opening weekend. 299. The film made $4.8 million on its first day, and went on to debut to $11 million, finishing 3rd behind holdovers Moana 2 and Wicked. 100. The film made $3.1 million in its second weekend, for a per-screen average of $950. 101. It dropped out of the box office top 10 in its 3rd weekend. 102. Critical response. The film received negative reviews from critics. 103. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 15% of 158 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 4/10. The website's consensus reads, claiming no trophies with its road story and shoddy special effects, Kraven the Hunter turns out to be a paper tiger. 104. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 35 out of 100, based on 41 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. 105 audiences surveyed by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of C on an A+ to F scale, while those polled by Post-Track gave it a 59% overall positive score. 100. Levi Scott of Inverse wrote, "A clunky, crowded script, muddy visual effects, and glaringly obvious ADR bogged down a promising premise. It's not camp enough to become a cult classic, and it lacks the conviction to carry its most ambitious ideas to the finish line." 106. David Ehrlich of IndieWire gave the film a C grade, stating that the CGI devolves from adorably cartoonish to done as cheaply as possible by a studio trying to cut its losses so fast that it comes dangerously close to Scorpion King territory by the end. 107. The Daily Telegraph's Tim Roby gave it 1 out of 5 stars, writing, "Last orders can't come soon enough for the whole parade of supervillains, superheroes, or however they're now choosing to identify. This is rock bottom." 108. Ian Freer of Empire gave it 2 out of 5 stars, writing, "This all feels a long way from Chandor's glory days of margin call and all is lost. Save the occasional flourish, Kraven the Hunter is limp, tired, uninvolving superhero fare." 109. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian also gave it 2 out of 5 stars, saying that Chandor does a serviceable job, but the delirious craziness that once made the superhero genre so watchable is not really in evidence. Kraven is a so-so character in a so-so film and the superhero revival is as far away as ever. 110. The Hindu's Gopinath Rajendran wrote, "Not only is the wafer-thin plot painfully predictable but the secondary characters, despite being played by able performers, such sick Academy Award winner Ariana DeBose, are reduced to one-dimensional Muppets who add little to the overall narrative." 111. The AV Club's Jesse Hassanger gave the film a B grade, writing, "While all of the previous movies in this barely series seemed scrambled together in a panic, Chandor's movie seems scrambled together with a great deal of confidence and a bit of style." 112. Adam Graham of the Detroit News said the film is far from the cream of the crop in the superhero space, but non-discerning comic book fans may appreciate the spoils of this bounty and gave it a C+ grade. 113. Kevin Marr of The Times gave it 3 out of 5 stars, saying it remains ludicrous to the end but it's never anything less than entertaining. 114. Other responses. Sony Pictures CEO Tony Vinciquerra blamed critics for Kraven the Hunter's box office failure, insisting that audiences who saw the film loved it and comparing it to the Netflix viewing numbers that Madame Web, 2024, received. 115. Alessandro Nivola was more neutral, adding that while his experience filming the movie was joyful, he figured that the overall quality came down to the editing. One particularly notable sequence where Nivola's character makes an odd guttural scream was acknowledged by the actor as being internet meme-worthy. He had made what he referred to as a silent scream, but the sound was changed in post. 116. Accolades. Award date of ceremony category recipient, S, result ref. Golden Raspberry Awards February 28, 2025 Worst Remake, Rip-Off, or Sequel Kraven the Hunter nominated 117. Worst Supporting Actress Ariana DeBose A nominated. Worst Screenplay Art Markham, Matt Holloway, and Richard Wenk nominated. Viewership. According to data from Show Labs, Kraven the Hunter ranked 3rd on Netflix in the United States during the week of 10 to 16 March 2025. 118-119. Future. Chandor stated he was willing to make a second and final film featuring the character, based on Kraven's last hunt and setting Kraven against Spider-Man. It's obviously very tragic and sad, but the character we're trying to create is one who could realistically, if this film is a success, end with Last Hunt. 120. Similarly, Taylor Johnson expressed interest in a Sinister Six crossover film. 121. In December 2024, following the film's projected financial failure, it was reported that Kraven would be the final film in Sony's Spider-Man universe, ending any chance for a sequel or crossover. 122-123. A later report from Variety stated that Sony had not technically established an official shared universe because it did not connect their narratives, and was not likely to stop making films for other characters, such as Venom, which were successful. 46. In February 2026, Sony Pictures chairman Tom Rothman confirmed that Sony planned to continue its franchise through a fresh reboot overseen by different individuals. Aaron Perry Taylor Johnson, Annie Johnson, born June 13, 1990, is an English actor. His accolades include a Golden Globe Award, in addition to nominations for 2 British Academy Film Awards and a British Independent Film Award. As a child actor, Taylor Johnson performed in films including Shanghai Nights, 2003, The Illusionist, 2006, and Angus, Thongs and Perfect Snogging, 2008. He had his breakthrough performance as John Lennon in the biopic Nowhere Boy, 2009, directed by Sam Taylor Wood, whom he married in 2012, adding her surname. He gained recognition for his portrayal of the title character in Kick-Ass, 2010, and its sequel Kick-Ass 2, 2013, as well as performances in the crime thriller Savages, 2012, period drama Anna Karenina, 2012, and monster film Godzilla, 2014. Taylor Johnson next portrayed the Marvel Cinematic Universe character Pietro Maximoff in Avengers: Age of Ultron, 2015. For playing a psychopathic drifter in the thriller film Nocturnal Animals, 2016, he won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor. He has since appeared in the action films Tenet, 2020, Bullet Train, 2022, and The Fall Guy, 2024, as well as starring roles in the horror films Nosferatu, 2024, and 28 Years Later, 2025. Early life. Aaron Perry Johnson was born in High Wycombe on June 13, 1990. 234. His father, Robert, was a civil engineer and his mother, Sarah, stayed at home and worked odd jobs here and there so they could get by. 456. He has a sister named Gemma, who later had a small role in his film Tom and Thomas, 2002. 7. Johnson is Jewish. 8. He went to Holmer Green Senior School and attended the Jackie Palmer Stage School in High Wycombe, studying drama, tap, jazz, acrobatics, and singing. 9-10. He left school at 15. 11-12. Career. Beginnings and rise to fame, 1999 to 2015. Taylor Johnson, age 20, with future wife Sam Taylor Johnson, age 43, in September 2010. Johnson began acting at the age of 6. On stage, he appeared in a London production of William Shakespeare's Macbeth, playing the son of Macduff alongside Rufus Sewell, who played Macbeth, in 1999. 13. He appeared in Arthur Miller's All My Sons in 2000. His television roles have included Nike in the 2004 BBC adaptation of the novel Feather Boy, Aaron in Danny Brocklehurst's ITV1 serial Talk to Me, and Owen Stevens in Nearly Famous. 3. In 2003, Johnson appeared as a young Charlie Chaplin in Shanghai Nights alongside Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson, with Chaplin depicted as a member of a London gang of street hooligans. That year, he guest starred in Fatal Consequences, a special live episode of the ITV drama The Bill. In 2006, he appeared in The Illusionist, appearing in the early flashback scenes as Edward Norton's character, Edward Abramovich, as a teenager. The scenes show the young Edward as he first learns magic. To do this, Johnson had to learn how to perform the ball trick that his character performs. He learned how to balance the egg on the stick, although that was mechanically affected. 14. Also in 2006, he starred in the film The Thief Lord as Prosper. Johnson appeared as John Lennon in the 2009 biographical film Nowhere Boy, directed by Sam Taylor Wood, whom he later married. His performance won him the Empire Award for Best Newcomer, and he was nominated for Young British Performer of the Year by the London Film Critics Circle. In 2010, Johnson appeared as David Dave Liszewski / Kick-Ass, the lead character in Kick-Ass, based on the superhero comic book of the same name by Scottish writer Mark Millar. 1516 His performance in Kick-Ass saw him nominated for the BAFTA Rising Star Award. He has also appeared as the central character, William, in Hideo Nakata's Chat Room. 3 In December 2010, Johnson joined the cast of Albert Nobbs as a replacement for Orlando Bloom. 17 Johnson starred in R.E.M's 2011 music video Berlin, which was directed by his then-fiancée. 18. Taylor Johnson at the 2013 San Diego Comic-Con. In 2012, Taylor Johnson played Count Vrinsky in Anna Karenina. Later that year, he starred as Ben in Oliver Stone's Savages. Hitfix film critic Drew McWeeny was positive of the bond between Johnson and co-star Taylor Kitsch, which seems not only credible but lived in and authentic throughout the film, and noted the evolution in maturity of Johnson since Kick-Ass. 19 Taylor Johnson starred in the Godzilla reboot, released in May 2014. 2021 Taylor Johnson played Quicksilver in Avengers: Age of Ultron, 2015, the sequel to 2012's The Avengers, as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. 22 Taylor Johnson first appeared as the character in a post-credits scene of the film Captain America: The Winter Soldier, 2014. 23 The role reunited him with Elizabeth Olsen, who played his wife in Godzilla. 21-22. Career progression, 2016, present. In 2016, he played Ray, a menacing Texan, in Tom Ford's thriller Nocturnal Animals. For the role, he won the Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor, Motion Picture. Taylor Johnson also became first Golden Globe Award for Best Supporting Actor winner since Richard Benjamin, who did not receive an Academy Award nomination. For the role, he received a nomination for the BAFTA Award for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. In 2017, he played an American soldier in Doug Liman's thriller The Wall 24, and in 2018, he appeared in Outlaw King, a British-American historical action drama about Robert the Bruce and the Wars of Scottish Independence. In 2020, Taylor Johnson had a supporting role in Christopher Nolan's film Tenet. 25 In 2022, he appeared in David Leitch's Bullet Train, an action thriller film based on the novel Mariah by Toru by Kotaro Isaka. 26 In 2023, he appeared in a commercial for Armani's Acqua di Gio fragrance, shot in Telasica Nature Park. 27 He reunited with Leitch in the 2024 action film The Fall Guy. 28 Also in 2024, Taylor Johnson played another Marvel character in Kraven the Hunter, as part of Sony's Spider-Man universe. 29 He featured in Robert Eggers' horror film Nosferatu. 30. Taylor Johnson starred in 28 Years Later, a sequel to the 2002 film 28 Days Later, directed by Danny Boyle. 31. Personal life. Johnson met filmmaker Sam Taylor Wood in 2008 when he auditioned for her film Nowhere Boy. He was 18 and she was 41 at the time. 32, 33, 34 They began dating soon after filming Wrapped and became engaged in October 2009. 35-36 Johnson stated he asked her to marry him a year after they met. 37. They married in the chapel at Babington House on June 21, 2012. 38 They changed both their surnames to Taylor Johnson. 39 They have 2 daughters, born in 2010 and 2012, and Johnson is stepfather to Sam's 2 daughters from her previous marriage. 40. Taylor Johnson was named one of GQ's 50 Best Dressed British Men in 2015. 41 In a 2019 interview with GQ Australia, he defined his style as elegant and timeless. 42. Taylor Johnson lives with his wife and their 2 daughters on a farm near Bruton, Somerset, and he spends his time vegetable farming. Ariana DeBose, Ariana DeBose born January 25, 1991, is an American actress and singer who has received various accolades, including an Academy Award, a British Academy Film Award, and a Golden Globe Award, in addition to nominations for a Tony Award and 2 Primetime Emmy Awards. In 2022, Time magazine named her one of the 100 most influential people in the world. 2. DeBose was a contestant on the 6th season of So You Think You Can Dance in 2009, where she was the first female contestant and in gender overall the first contestant to be eliminated. She made her Broadway debut in Bring It On, the musical in 2011 and continued her work on Broadway with roles in Motown, the musical, 2013, and Pippin, 2014. From 2015 to 2016, she was one of the original ensemble members in Lin-Manuel Miranda's musical Hamilton, and appeared as Jane in A Bronx Tale, 2016 to 2017. In 2018, she was nominated for the Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Musical for her performance as Donna Summer in Summer, the Donna Summer musical. She has also hosted the Tony Awards in 2022, 2023, and 2024. DeBose has also appeared in the Netflix musical comedy film The Prom, 2020, and the Apple TV Plus musical comedy series Schmigadoon, 2021 to 2023. She gained wider recognition for her role as Anita in Steven Spielberg's musical film West Side Story, 2021, winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. She provided the voice of Asha in the animated film Wish, 2023. Early life. Ariana DeBose was born on January 25, 1991, in Wilmington, North Carolina. Her mother, Gina DeBose, was a middle school teacher. 3. DeBose trained in dance at CC & Co. Dance Complex in Raleigh, North Carolina, where she also grew up. 4. 5. DeBose has stated that her father is Puerto Rican and her mother was white. She also has African American and Italian ancestry. 6. Career. Early work and Broadway roles, 2009 to 2016. DeBose made her television debut in 2009, when she competed on the TV series So You Think You Can Dance, making it into the top 20. 7. She later appeared on the soap opera One Life to Live and played Little Inez Stubbs in the North Carolina Theater's production of Hairspray before appearing in the role of Nautica in the 2011 Alliance Theater production of Bring It On. She also appeared in the ensemble of the New York Philharmonic production of Company, which was filmed for television. 8. At the end of 2011, Bring It On embarked on a national tour across the United States. DeBose continued her role into the 2012 Broadway production and understudied the character Danielle. In 2013, DeBose played Mary Wilson in Motown on Broadway, understudying the role of Diana Ross. 8. She later joined the cast of Pippin on Broadway, playing a noble and a player and understudying the role of the leading player, which she ended up taking over for a short period in 2014. 8. She can be heard playing director/choreographer Zoe Taylor in As the Curtain Rises, an original Broadway soap opera podcast from the Broadway Podcast Network. In 2015, DeBose left Pippin to join the ensemble of the off-Broadway musical Hamilton, in which she developed her ensemble part as representing the bullet that would eventually kill Alexander Hamilton. 9. The show moved to Broadway later that year. She left Hamilton in July 2016 and made a guest appearance on the TV series Blue Bloods as Sophia Ortiz. She also starred as Daphne in the thriller film Seaside. From November 2016 to August 2017, DeBose portrayed Jane on Broadway in A Bronx Tale. 10. Breakthrough, 2017 to 2022. In late 2017, DeBose was cast in her breakthrough role, playing Disco Donna in Summer, the Donna Summer musical at San Diego's La Jolla Playhouse. She reprised this role in the Broadway production, which opened in April 2018. 11. Despite mixed reviews, she was nominated for the 2018 Tony Award for Best Featured Actress in a Musical at the 72nd Tony Awards. 12. In 2018, she starred in the film Seaside, directed by Sam Zalutsky. DeBose played Alyssa Green in the film adaptation of The Prom, directed by Ryan Murphy, where she was opposite of Jo Ellen Pellman as Emma Nolan. 13. In March 2021, DeBose released a dance pop recording and video of Rodgers and Hammerstein's Shall We Dance for the album RNH Goes Pop, produced by Justin Goldner and arranged by Benjamin Rawrahala. 14. In 2021, DeBose played Schoolmarm Emma Tate in Season 1 the parody musical comedy series Shmigadoon on Apple TV+. 15. In Season 2 of Shmigadoon. In 2023, she played the role of MC. 16. DeBose in 2022. Despite not seeing herself playing the role and initially refusing 4 times to audition for it, 17. DeBose played Anita in the 2021 film adaptation of the musical West Side Story, directed by Steven Spielberg. The film was released in December 2021 to critical acclaim. 18. DeBose received critical attention for her performance of Anita in 1920, with Karen James of BBC praising her performance, declaring, "Anita, in a layered, dynamic performance by Ariana DeBose, is the center of attention, swirling her skirt and dancing to the Latin rhythms that infuse the film." 21. David Fear of Rolling Stone wrote, "DeBose, strong contender for Most Valuable Player here, whose energy in her singing, her dancing, her line reading, her side-eyeing could power a metropolitan block." 22. She also received multiple accolades, including a Golden Globe Award, a BAFTA Award, a Critics' Choice Movie Award, and a Screen Actors Guild Award, making her the first Afro-Latina and queer woman of color to win the latter award. 23. And the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress at the 94th Academy Awards. 24-25. Following her West Side Story success, it was announced that DeBose would host the 75th Tony Awards. 26. DeBose called the opportunity to host a bucket list moment that I didn't know I had. 27. She received generally positive reviews for the show and received a nomination for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Variety Special, Live, at the 75th Primetime Emmy Awards. 28-29. She also made a recurring appearance in the 4th season of the HBO science fiction series Westworld. 30. 2023, present. DeBose went viral on Twitter after performing at the 76th British Academy Film Awards, where she celebrated the female nominees by name in an original freestyle rap performance. Despite being described by Variety as a little out of breath at some points and that the lyrics felt clumsy, show producer Nick Bullen defended the performance, claiming it was well received by the live audience and that the criticism was incredibly unfair and he absolutely loved it. 31-32. The rap went viral with lines like "Angela Bassett did the thing," becoming pop culture memes. 33-34. DeBose has subsequently performed the rap in concert. 35. DeBose voiced the lead character of Asha in the 2023 Disney animated film Wish. 36. In 2024, DeBose had a starring role in the science fiction thriller ISS. 37-38. And a supporting role in the spy film Argylle. 39. She appeared as Calypso Ezeli in the superhero film Kraven the Hunter, directed by J.C. Chandor. 40. The following year, DeBose starred in the action comedy Love Hurts alongside Ke Huy Quan. DeBose was the one who presented Quan with his Oscar at the 95th Academy Awards in 2022. 41-42. All these films were poorly received by critics. 43. She will next play Cordelia alongside Al Pacino in Lear Rex, a film adaptation of William Shakespeare's King Lear. 44. Personal life. DeBose in 2025. DeBose is queer, 45, and came out to her grandparents in 2015. 46. In December 2020, DeBose and Jo Ellen Pellman launched the Unruly Hearts Initiative. The initiative was created to help young people connect with organizations and charities that advocate for the LGBTQ+ community. 47. DeBose was in a relationship with costume designer and Professor Sue McHugh. The pair met while working on Summer, the Donna Summer musical in 2017. 48. Previously, DeBose was in a romantic relationship with theater props master Jill Johnson. The pair met while both were working on Motown, the musical. 49. In April 2025, DeBose faced criticism after sharing a quote on Instagram that was originally used to denounce her former West Side Story co-star, Rachel Zegler. The quote, stating narcissism is not something to be coddled or encouraged, was initially posted by Jonah Platt, son of Snow White, 2025, producer Mark Platt, in response to Ziegler's political comments during the promotion of the film, criticizing Ziegler for bringing personal politics into the film's promotion and suggesting that her actions negatively impacted its box office performance. 50-51 DeBose deleted her post and clarified that she was unaware of the quote's origin or its connection to Ziegler. She explained that she frequently shares quotes she finds meaningful without researching their origins. Fred Heckinger, /HKNDR/1 born on December 2, 1999, 2 is an American actor. He began his career with supporting roles in such films as the coming-of-age film 8th Grade, 2018, the period drama News of the World, 2020, and the thriller The Woman in the Window, 2021. Also in 2021, he starred in the Netflix horror The Fear Street trilogy and the first season of the HBO anthology series The White Lotus. Heckinger portrayed Seth Warshawski in the miniseries Pam and Tommy, 2022. In 2024, he starred in the comedy film Thelma and the drama film Nickel Boys, and portrayed Caracalla in the historical action film Gladiator 2. Early life. Heckinger was born in New York City to parents Sarah Rosen and Paul Heckinger. 3. His grandfather was the New York Times education editor Fred M. Heckinger. 4. He grew up on the Upper West Side and attended St. Anne's School, where his classmates included fellow actors Lucas Hedges and Maya Hawke. Heckinger was a teen reporter 5 and studied at Upright Citizens Brigade. He is Jewish. 4-6. Career. In 2018, Heckinger made his acting debut as Trevor in the coming-of-age dramedy film 8th Grade. The following year, he co-starred in Mark Meyer's drama film Human Capital, which is based on Stephen Ammidon's 2004 novel of the same name. It premiered at the Toronto International Film Festival and later released through DirecTV Cinema on March 20, 2020. 7. In 2020, Heckinger appeared in Paul Greengrass' Western film, News of the World, which starred Tom Hanks. In 2021, he starred alongside Amy Adams in the Joe Wright-directed psychological thriller film The Woman in the Window. The movie had already been filmed prior to the COVID-19 pandemic. 4-8. He appeared as Simon Kalivoda in the Netflix horror films The Fear Street trilogy, which were released in 2021. 9. Heckinger's breakout role came in his performance as Quinn Mosbacher in the first season of HBO's The White Lotus, which was released in the same year. In 2024, Heckinger appeared in Ridley Scott's historical epic film Gladiator 2, portraying a fictionalized version of Roman Emperor Caracalla. 10-11 Later that year, he appeared in the Sony's Spider-Man universe film Kraven the Hunter, with Aaron Taylor Johnson in the title role 12, in which he portrayed Dmitry Smerdyakov/Chameleon. 13. He co-starred with Oscar nominee June Squibb in the 2024 film Thelma, which received a 98% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. 14-15 It also starred Parker Posey, Clark Gregg, Malcolm McDowell, and Richard Roundtree. Yuri Andreevich Kolokonikov, Russian, born December 15, 1980, is a Russian stage and film actor. 1 In the West, Kolokonikov is best known for his performance as Styr in the television series Game of Thrones 2 and as Gennady Bystrov in The Americans. 3. Early life. Yuri Kolokonikov was born in Moscow, Russian SFSR, Soviet Union. His parents divorced shortly after Yuri was born, and in 1985 his mother moved to Canada with Yuri and his brother, Theodore. Kolokonikov is a citizen of Russia and Canada. According to most, Kolokonikov as a child was both unruly and uncontrollable. Citation needed. Unable to cope with the upbringing of her son, his mother sent him back to Russia to live with his father. Citation needed. Almost immediately after his arrival in Moscow, he went to study at film school and became involved with the production of shows for children. Soon afterwards, his father took him to audition for the director Sava Kulish, where Kolokonikov gained a small role in the film Iron Curtain. Citation needed. At 15 years old, he passed external exams for the last 2 classes of high school and submitted his documents to the Boris Shchikhin Theatre Institute. 4. In 2000, immediately after graduation, he went to Hollywood. During the year, he lived in Los Angeles and New York, working part-time as a waiter, a courier, and a loader. Unable to break into the big cinema, Kolokonikov returned to Moscow. 1. Kolokonikov at the 4th Audi Cup in Slalom Among the Stars, 2010. In 2013, he dictated the text of the annual educational action Total Dictation on the MSU Faculty of Journalism. Career. He has appeared in more than 40 films since 1998. Kolokonikov met with director Kirill Serebrennikov, who invited him for a role in the television series Diary of a Killer in the staging of Sweet Bird of Youth at the Theatre Sovramennik Theatre. The premiere took place in 2002. 1. In 2014, he played the role of Styr, Magnar of Then, in the 4th season of the television series Game of Thrones. He had a lead role in the Russian 2016 comedy film Breakfast with Daddy. The film is about a wealthy man who discovers that he has a 10-year-old daughter. In the 2017 American action comedy The Hitman's Bodyguard, Kolokonikov played a Belarusian mercenary leader Ivan. In 2024, Yura played Koroviv in the adaptation of The Master and Margarita. Russell Crowe, born April 7, 1964, is a New Zealand-born actor and film director. His work on screen has earned him various accolades, including an Academy Award, 2 Golden Globe Awards, and a British Academy Film Award. Crowe was born in New Zealand, moving to Australia at the age of 4 and residing there permanently by the age of 21. He began acting in Australia and had his breakout role in Romper Stomper, 1992, for which he won the IACTA Award for Best Actor in a Leading Role. He gained international recognition in the late 1990s for his starring roles in L.A. Confidential, 1997, and The Insider, 1999. Crowe gained wider stardom for playing the title role of Gladiator, 2000, which earned him the Academy Award for Best Actor, having been previously nominated for The Insider. Further acclaim came for portraying real-life mathematician John Forbes Nash Jr. in A Beautiful Mind, 2001, for which he was nominated for a 3rd Academy Award. Other films he starred in include Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, 2003, Cinderella Man, 2005, 3:10 to Yuma, 2007, American Gangster, 2007, Robin Hood, 2010, Les Miserables, 2012, Man of Steel, 2013, Noah, 2014, The Nice Guys, 2016, Thor, Love and Thunder, 2022, The Pope's Exorcist, 2023, and Nuremberg, 2025. In 2014, he made his directorial debut with the drama The Water Diviner, in which he also starred. Crowe has been the co-owner of the National Rugby League, NRL, Team South Sydney Rabbitohs since 2006. Early life and education. Russell Crowe was born in Strathmore Park, a suburb of Wellington, New Zealand, on April 7, 1964 to the son of film set caterers Jocelyn Yvonne, née Wemyss, and John Alexander Crowe. John also managed a hotel. Jocelyn's father, Stan Wemyss, was a cinematographer who was awarded an MBE for filming footage of World War II as a member of the New Zealand Film Unit. Crowe is Maori and identifies with Ngati Porou through a maternal great-great-grandmother. 3-4 John's father, John Doubleday Crowe, was a Welshman from Wrexham, while another of Crowe's grandparents was Scottish. 5-6 Crowe's other ancestry includes English, German, Irish, Italian, Norwegian and Swedish. 7 He is a cousin of former New Zealand national cricket captains Martin and Jeff Crowe. 8 And the nephew of cricketer Dave Crowe. 9. At the age of 4, Crowe moved to Australia with his family, settling in Sydney, where John and Jocelyn pursued their career in film set catering. Jocelyn's godfather was the producer of the Australian television series Spy Force, and Crowe was hired for a line of dialogue in one episode of the series at the age of 5 or 6, opposite series star Jack Thompson. 10 Later, in 1994, Thompson would play the supportive father of Crowe's gay character in the film The Sum of Us. 11-12 Crowe also appeared briefly in the series The Young Doctors. 3. In Australia, he was educated at Vaucluse Public School and Sydney Boys High School 3 before moving back to New Zealand with his family in 1978. He continued his secondary education in Auckland, attending Auckland Grammar School and Mount Roskill Grammar School before leaving school to pursue his ambitions as a performer. 13. Acting career. New Zealand. A promotional photo of Crowe as Russ Leroq in 1981. Under guidance from his good friend Tom Sharplin, Crowe began his performing career as a musician in the early 1980s, performing under the stage name Russ Leroq. 14 He released several New Zealand singles, including I Just Wanna Be Like Marlon Brando, 15 Pier 13, and Shattered Glass, none of which charted. 16 He managed an Auckland music venue called The Venue in 1984. 17 When he was 18, he was featured in A Very Special Person, a promotional video for the theology/ministry course at Avondale University, a Seventh-day Adventist tertiary education provider in New South Wales, Australia. 18. Australia. In 1985, Crowe left New Zealand and returned to Australia. He intended to apply to the National Institute of Dramatic Art. He said, "I was working in a theatre show, and talked to a guy who was then the head of technical support at NIDA. I asked him what he thought about me spending 3 years at NIDA. He told me it'd be a waste of time. He said, you already do the things you go there to learn, and you've been doing it for most of your life, so there's nothing to teach you but bad habits." 19 From 1986 to 1988, he was given his first professional role by director Daniel Abinri, in a New Zealand production of the Rocky Horror Show. 3 He played the role of Eddie/Dr. Scott. 3 He repeated this performance in a further Australian production of the show, which also toured New Zealand. 20 In 1987, Crowe spent 6 months busking when he could not find other work. 21 In the 1988 Australian production of Blood Brothers, Crowe played the role of Mickey. 22 He was also cast again by Daniel Abinri in the role of Johnny, in the stage musical Bad Boy Johnny and the Prophets of Doom in 1989. 23. After appearing in the TV series Neighbours and Living with the Law, Crowe was cast by Faith Martin in his first film, The Crossing, 1990, a small-town love triangle directed by George Ogilvy. Before production started, a film student protege of Ogilvy, Steve Wallace, hired Crowe for the 1990 film Blood Oath, aka Prisoners of the Sun, which was released a month earlier than The Crossing, although actually filmed later. In 1992, Crowe starred in the first episode of the second series of Police Rescue. Also in 1992, Crowe starred in Romper Stomper, an Australian film which followed the exploits and downfall of a racist skinhead group in blue-collar suburban Melbourne, directed by Jeffrey Wright and co-starring Jacqueline McKenzie. For the role, Crowe won an Australian Film Institute (AFI) award for Best Actor, following up from his Best Supporting Actor award for Proof in 1991. 3. North America. 1993 to 1999, Breakthrough. Crowe at the premiere of The Insider in Washington, D.C., 1999. After initial success in Australia, Crowe first starred in a Canadian production in 1993, For the Moment, before concentrating on American films. In 1993, he was favored for the role of Joshua Chamberlain in the epic film Gettysburg but was passed over for Jeff Daniels. 24 In 1995, he appeared in 4 Hollywood films. This included the science fiction film Virtuosity where he co-starred with Denzel Washington. Unfortunately it received poor reviews and failed commercially. His other roles that year saw him work with Sharon Stone in the western The Quick and the Dead, the comedy Rough Magic with Bridget Fonda, and his first starring role in the industry as an FBI agent in No Way Back. 3. He had his breakthrough playing a short-tempered LAPD officer having an affair with a call girl working in the stable of a shady millionaire who uses prostitutes to blackmail powerful politicians and businessmen in 1997's neo-noir hit LA Confidential. 25 His co-stars included Kevin Spacey, Guy Pearce, and Kim Basinger, among others. He starred in Breaking Up, a romantic drama with Salma Hayek. After headlining the ice hockey-centered mystery, Alaska, he portrayed Jeffrey Wigand in Michael Mann's The Insider, 1999, based on Wigand's life. This film opened to highly positive reviews and earned Crowe his first nomination for an Academy Award. Crowe was offered the role as Wolverine for the first X-Men film, but he declined and recommended Hugh Jackman for the part, which launched the latter's film career. 26. 2000 to 2005, Stardom. In 2000, Crowe starred in his career-defining film Gladiator. Directed by Ridley Scott, the epic historical film was met with major commercial success and acclaim, catapulting Crowe to worldwide stardom and winning him the Best Actor award at the Academy Awards and Critics' Choice Awards along with nominations for a BAFTA Award and Golden Globe Award. 327 Crowe was also awarded the Centenary Medal in 2001 for service to Australian society and Australian film production. 28. In a later interview, Crowe stated the film forever changed his life. He recounted visiting an Italian store where a large crowd gathered outside, yelling his character's first name, Maximus. 29 Many of his lines from the film are considered iconic. 3031 Gladiator has been listed among the greatest films of the 21st century. 32 33 34. The next year, he played the leading role in another notable film in his filmography, A Beautiful Mind, 2001, delivering an acclaimed performance as the Nobel Prize-winning economist and schizophrenic patient John Nash. Crowe, once again, won multiple accolades. At this point in his career, he received 3 consecutive Best Actor Oscar nominations, for The Insider, Gladiator, and A Beautiful Mind. All three films were also nominated for Best Picture, and both Gladiator and A Beautiful Mind won the award. Crowe became the first actor to star as the lead in back-to-back Best Picture winners since Walter Pidgeon, who starred in How Green Was My Valley 1941 and Mrs. Miniver 1942. 35 Crowe declined the role of Aragorn in Peter Jackson's The Lord of the Rings trilogy since he felt studios were pressuring filmmakers to cast him due to his recent successes. 36. Within the 6-year stretch from 1997 to 2003, Crowe also starred in 2 other Best Picture nominees, L.A. Confidential and Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. In Master and Commander, 2003, Crowe delivered another acclaimed performance as Jack Aubrey, a character from the Aubrey, Maturin series of nautical historical novels, upon which the film was based. The movie garnered 10 Oscar nominations and various other awards, including a Golden Globe Best Actor nomination for Crowe. It continues to receive positive retrospective reviews despite moderate box office returns at the time of release. 37 38 39 In 2005, he reteamed with A Beautiful Mind director Ron Howard for the biographical boxing drama Cinderella Man, 2005, which has been listed as one of the best in its genre. 40. The film chronicles James J. Braddock's pursuit of the World Heavyweight Championship amidst the Great Depression. Consistent with Crowe's previous projects, it received many nominations and accolades, while earning Crowe an IACTA award for the third time. 41. 2006 to 2014, established career. In 2006, he reteamed with Gladiator director Ridley Scott for A Good Year, the first of 3 consecutive collaborations, the second being American Gangster, co-starring again with Denzel Washington, released in late 2007. Although the light romantic comedy of A Good Year was not greatly received, Crowe seemed pleased with the film, telling STV in an interview that he thought it would be enjoyed by fans of his other films. 42. By the latter half of 2000s, Crowe's box office standing declined, as he switched to playing mostly supporting characters, with occasional leading roles. 43. In 2007, he appeared alongside Christian Bale in the Western film 3:10 to Yuma, a remake of the 1957 film of the same name. 44. He followed this up with Ridley Scott's action thriller Body of Lies, 2008, co-starring Leonardo DiCaprio. For his portrayal of Ed Hoffman, he underwent a physical transformation, gaining 62 pounds. 45. He starred in the 2009 political thriller State of Play, based on the BBC drama television series of the same name. 46. Crowe appeared in Robin Hood, a film based on the Robin Hood legend, directed by Ridley Scott and released on May 14, 2010. 47. During the Robin Hood shoot, Crowe fractured both of his legs doing a scene in which he jumped off a castle portcullis onto rock-hard uneven ground and said he never discussed the injury with production, never took a day off because of it, I just kept going to work. 48. Crowe starred in the 2010 Paul Haggis film The Next 3 Days, an adaptation of the 2008 French film Pour Elle, Anything for Her. 49. After a year off from acting, Crowe played Jackknife in The Man with the Iron Fists, 2012, opposite RZA. He took on the role of Javert in the blockbuster musical film of Les Miserables, 2012, 50 and portrayed Superman's biological father, Jor-El, in the Christopher Nolan-produced and Zack Snyder-directed film Man of Steel, released in the summer of 2013. In 2014, he played a gangster in the film adaptation of Mark Halperin's 1983 novel Winter's Tale, and the title role in the Darren Aronofsky's epic religious drama Noah, which earned well financially. 51. Also in June 2013, Crowe signed to make his directorial debut with the historical drama film The Water Diviner, in which he also starred alongside Jacqueline McKenzie, Olga Kurylenko, and Jay Courtney. 52. Set in the year 1919, the film was produced by Troy Lum, Andrew Mason, and Keith Roger. 53. 2015, present, recent activities. In a 2024 interview, Crowe stated he is content with his career and does not care about other people's reactions anymore, choosing to pursue roles that excite him artistically or otherwise. 54. In recent years, his notable appearances have included an enforcer for hire in the cult classic The Nice Guys, 2016, a major role in The Mummy, 2017, starring as an angry driver in the action thriller Unhinged, 2020, 55 playing the mythical Greek god Zeus in the Marvel Cinematic Universe film Thor, Love and Thunder, 2022, 56 portraying the famous exorcist Father Gabriel Amorth in The Pope's Exorcist, 2023, 57 and appearing as Nikolai Kravinoff in Kraven the Hunter, 2024. 58 he played Hermann Göring in the film Nuremberg, 2025, which reunited him with his Man of Steel co-star Michael Shannon. In 2025, Crowe was honored by Zurich Film Festival with their Lifetime Achievement Award. 59. Music. Main article, 30-odd foot of grunts. Crowe singing at an open mic night at O'Reilly's Pub in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada, June 13, 2005. In the 1980s, Crowe, under the name of Russ LEROQ, recorded a song titled I Just Wanna Be Like Marlon Brando. 60. In the 1980s, Crowe and friend Billy Dean Cochran formed a band, Roman Antics, which later evolved into the Australian rock band 30 Odd Foot of Grunts, abbreviated to TOFOG. Crowe performed lead vocals and guitar for the band, which formed in 1992. The band released the Photograph Kills EP in 1995, as well as 3 full-length records, Gaslight, 1998, Bastard Life or Clarity, 2001, and Other Ways of Speaking, 2003. In 2000, TOFOG performed shows in London, Los Angeles, and in Austin, Texas. In 2001, the band toured in the US with dates in Austin, Boulder, Chicago, Portland, San Francisco, Hollywood, Philadelphia, New York City, and the last show at the Stone Pony in Asbury Park, New Jersey. In early 2005, 30 Odd Foot of Grunts as a group had dissolved/evolved, with Crowe feeling his future music would take a new direction. He began a collaboration with Alan Doyle of the Canadian band Great Big Sea, and with it a new band emerged, The Ordinary Fear of God, which also involved some members of the previous TOFOG lineup. A new single, Ruin, was released in April 2005, and an album entitled My Hand, My Heart was released. The album includes a tribute song to actor Richard Harris, who became Crowe's friend during the making of Gladiator. Crowe and his new band The Ordinary Fear of God, keeping the TOFOG acronym, toured Australia in 2005, and then the US. In 2006 they returned to the US to promote their new release My Hand, My Heart. In March 2010, the group's version of the John Williamson song Winter Green was included on a new compilation album, The Absolute Best of John Williamson, 40 Years True Blue, commemorating the singer-songwriter's milestone of 40 years in the Australian music industry. 61. On August 2, 2011, the third collaboration between Crowe and Doyle was released on iTunes as the Crowe/Doyle Songbook Vol. 3, featuring 9 original songs followed by their acoustic demo counterparts, for a total of 18 tracks. Danielle Spencer does guest vocals on most tracks. The release coincided with a pair of live performances at the LSPU Hall in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. 62. The digital album was released as download versions only on Amazon.com, iTunes, Spotify. The album has since charted at number 72 on the Canadian Albums Chart. 63. On September 26, 2011, Crowe appeared on stage at Rogers Arena in Vancouver in the middle of Keith Urban's concert. He sang a cover of Folsom Prison Blues, before joining the rest of the band in a rendition of The Joker. 64. On August 18, 2012, Crowe appeared along with Doyle at the Harpa Concert Hall in Reykjavik, Iceland as part of the city's Menningarnótt program. 65. In 2017, Crowe and Doyle had created a new act, with his fellow Les Mis co-star, Samantha Bark 66, Scott Grimes 67, 68 and Carl Falk, called Indoor Garden Party 69, who appeared on the One Show 70 to promote their album called The Musical. On June 27, 2023, Crowe sang in concert with his band Indoor Garden Party in Bologna at the Teatro Comunale Nuovo. The concert was very successful, completely sold out. The total proceeds from the concert were entirely donated to the flood victims of Emilia-Romagna. 71. Philanthropy. Moreton Bay Fig donated by the Crowe family in Centennial Park, New South Wales. During location filming of Cinderella Man, Crowe made a donation to a Jewish elementary school whose library had been damaged as a result of arson. 72. A note with an anti-Semitic message had been left at the scene. 73. Crowe called school officials to express his concern and wanted his message relayed to the students. 74. The school's building fund received donations from throughout Canada and the amount of Crowe's donation was not disclosed. 75. On another occasion, Crowe donated $200,000 to a struggling primary school near his home in rural Australia. The money went towards an $800,000 project to construct a swimming pool at the school. Crowe's sympathies were sparked when a pupil drowned at the nearby Coffs Harbour beach in 2001, and he felt the pool would help students become better swimmers and improve their water safety. At the opening ceremony, he dived into the pool fully clothed as soon as it was declared open. Nana Glen principal Laurie Renshall said, "The many things he does up here, people just don't know about. We've been trying to get a pool for 10 years. 76. In August 2020, Crowe donated $5,000 to a fundraiser on GoFundMe by filmmaker Amanda Bailey and journalist Richard Hall to help rebuild Le Chef, a restaurant which was destroyed in the 2020 Beirut explosion. 77-78 The fundraiser aimed to raise $15,000, but it had raised approximately $19,000 as of August 16. 77 In response to Hall noting the donation, Crowe tweeted, "On behalf of Anthony Bourdain. I thought he probably would have done so if he was still around. I wish you and Le Chef the best and hope things can be put back together soon." 77-78 In June 2023, Crowe agreed with the organizers of a concert of his band Indoor Garden Party in Bologna to donate the full revenue to the victims of the Emilia-Romagna floods. 79-80-81 Sport. Crowe on the pitch at a North Sydney Bears game in 2017. Rugby League. He has been the co-owner of the National Rugby League, NRL, team South Sydney Rabbitohs since 2006. Crowe has been a supporter of the team since childhood. After his rise to fame as an actor, he has continued appearing at home games and supported the financially troubled club. Following the Super League war of the 1990s, he made an attempt to use his Hollywood connections to convince Ted Turner, a rival of Super League's Rupert Murdoch, to save the Rabbitohs before they were forced from the NRL competition for 2 years. 82 In 1999, Crowe paid $42,000 at auction for the brass bell used to open the inaugural Rugby League match in Australia in 1908 at a fundraiser to assist South's legal battle for re-inclusion in the league. 83 In 2005, he made the Rabbitohs the first club team in Australia to be sponsored by a film, when he negotiated a deal to advertise his film Cinderella Man on their jerseys. 84 On March 19, 2006, the voting members of the South Sydney club voted, in a 75.8% majority, to allow Crowe and businessman Peter Holmes à Court to purchase 75% of the organisation, leaving 25% ownership with the members. It cost them $3 million, and they received 4 of 8 seats on the board of directors. A 6-part television miniseries entitled Southside Story depicting the takeover aired in Australia in 2007. 85 On November 5, 2006, Crowe appeared on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno to announce that Firepower International was sponsoring the South Sydney Rabbitohs for $3 million over 3 years. 86 Showing viewers a Rabbitoh playing jersey with Firepower's name emblazoned on it. 87. Crowe helped to organize a rugby league game that took place at the University of North Florida, in Jacksonville, Florida, between the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the 2007 Super League Grand Final winners the Leeds Rhinos on January 26, 2008, Australia Day. Crowe told ITV Local Yorkshire the game was not a marketing exercise. 88 Crowe wrote a letter of apology to a Sydney newspaper following the sacking of South Sydney's coach Jason Taylor and one of their players David Fialago after a drunken altercation between the two at the end of the 2009 NRL season. 89 Also in 2009, Crowe persuaded young England international forward Sam Burgess to sign with the Rabbitohs over other clubs that were competing for his signature, after inviting Burgess and his mother to the set of Robin Hood, which he was filming in Britain at the time. 90. Crowe's influence helped to persuade noted player Greg Inglis to renege on his deal to join the Brisbane Broncos and sign for the Rabbitohs for 2011. 91 In 2010, the NRL was investigating Crowe's business relationships with a number of media and entertainment companies including Channel 9, Channel 7, and stadium and V8 supercars in relation to the South Sydney Rabbitohs salary cap. 92. In 2011, Souths also announced a corporate partnership with the bookmaking conglomerate Luxbet. 93. Previously, Crowe had been prominent in trying to prevent gambling being associated with the Rabbitohs. 94. In May 2011, Crowe helped arrange to have Fox broadcast the 2011 State of Origin series live for the first time in the United States, in addition to the NRL Grand Final. 95. In November 2012, the South Sydney Rabbitohs confirmed that Russell Crowe was selling his 37.5% stake in the club. 96. At the Rabbitohs annual general meeting on March 3, 2013, Chairman Nick Pappas claimed Crowe would not be selling his shareholding in the short to medium term and at this stage has no intention of selling at all. 97. Crowe was a guest presenter at the 2013 Dally M Awards. 98. And presented the prestigious Dally M medal to winner Cooper Cronk. 99. Russell was present at the 2014 NRL Grand Final when the Rabbitohs won the NRL Premiership for the first time in 43 years. 100. Other sporting interests. Two of his cousins, Martin Crowe and Jeff Crowe, captained the New Zealand national cricket team. 101. Crowe watches and plays cricket, and captained the Australian team containing Steve Waugh against an English side in the Hollywood Ashes cricket match. 102. On July 17, 2009, Crowe took to the commentary box for British sports channel Sky Sports as the third man during the second test of the 2009 Ashes series, between England and Australia. 103. Crowe is a fan of the New Zealand All Blacks rugby team. 104. He is friends with Lloyd Carr, the former coach of the University of Michigan Wolverines American football team, and Carr used Crowe's movie Cinderella Man to motivate his 2006 team following a 7-5 season the previous year. Upon hearing of this, Crowe called Carr and invited him to Australia to address his rugby league team, the South Sydney Rabbitohs, which Carr did the following summer. In September 2007, after Carr came under fire following the Wolverines' 0-2 start, Crowe traveled to Ann Arbor, Michigan for the Wolverines' September 15 game against Notre Dame to show his support for Carr. 105. He addressed the team before the game and watched from the sidelines as the Wolverines defeated the Irish 38-0. 106. Crowe is also a fan of the National Football League. On October 22, 2007, Crowe appeared in the booth of a Monday night game between the Indianapolis Colts and the Jacksonville Jaguars. 107. He is also a fan of Leeds United and narrated the Amazon Prime documentary Take Us Home, Leeds United. 108. Crowe has revealed in Italian media that he is a Lazio fan as well. 109. 110. Personal life. Crowe with then-wife Danielle Spencer in September 2011. In 1989, Crowe met Australian singer Danielle Spencer while working on the film The Crossing and the two began an on-again, off-again relationship. 111. In 2000, he became romantically involved with American actress Meg Ryan while working on their film Proof of Life. 112. In 2001, Crowe and Spencer reconciled, and they married 2 years later in April 2003. The wedding took place at Crowe's cattle property in Nannaglan, New South Wales, with the ceremony taking place on Crowe's 39th birthday. 111. 113. The couple have 2 sons. 114. 115. In October 2012, it was reported that Crowe and Spencer had separated. 116. 117. They divorced in April 2018. 118. A longtime resident of Nannaglan, Crowe is well known in the community and is a frequent patron of the local rugby games. During the Australian bushfires in 2019 and 2020, he raised over $400,000 for the NSWRFS by selling his South Sydney Rabbitohs hat in an online auction. 119. On March 9, 2005, Crowe revealed to GQ magazine that prior to his attending the 73rd Academy Awards, FBI agents had approached him and told him that the terrorist group Al-Qaeda wanted to kidnap him. 120 He recalled, "It was something to do with some recording picked up by a French policewoman, I think, in either Libya or Algiers. It was about taking iconographic Americans out of the picture as a sort of cultural destabilization plan." 121. At the beginning of 2009, Crowe appeared in a series of Australian special edition postage stamps called Legends of the Screen, featuring Australian actors. Crowe, Geoffrey Rush, Cate Blanchett, and Nicole Kidman each appear twice in the series, once as themselves and once as their Academy Award-nominated character. Crowe is the only non-Australian to appear in the stamps. 122. In June 2010, Crowe, who started smoking when he was 10, announced he had quit for the sake of his two sons. 123 In November, he told David Letterman that he had smoked more than 60 cigarettes a day for 36 years, and that he had fallen off the wagon the night before the interview and smoked heavily. 124. In 2011, Crowe declared his opposition to the practice of non-medical circumcision on Twitter, referring to it as barbaric and stupid. He specifically called for Jews to abolish the practice. Crowe's comments led to accusations of anti-Semitism, which he denied. 125, 126, 127. Citizenship. In 2015, it was reported that Crowe had applied for Australian citizenship in 2006 and again in 2013 but was rejected because he failed to fulfill the residency requirements. 128, 129 However, Australia's Immigration Department said it had no record of any such application by Crowe. 130, 131, 132. Ambassador of Rome in the world. On December 20, 2022, Crowe was appointed by the mayor of Rome to be the city's ambassador in the world. Clarification needed on the day of the appointment, Crowe declared that it would be important to host the next FIFA World Cup in Italy. 133, 134. Political views. Crowe has supported the Australian Labor Party, ALP. 135 He endorsed former Australian Prime Minister Julia Gillard in June 2013. 136 And narrated an advertisement for the Labor Party's election campaign in May 2022. 137 Crowe has been an outspoken critic of Australia's immigration detention facilities, describing them as a nation's shame and fucking disgraceful. In November 2017, Crowe offered to resettle displaced refugees who were held in Australia's offshore detention facility on Manus Island. 138. Honorary Officer Rank. As of February 24, 2026, Russell Crowe is an honorary officer in the Royal Australian Navy, RAN, holding the rank of Commander. The RAN recognized Crowe for his long-term advocacy for the Navy, his rank being appointed by the Chief of Navy Vice Admiral Mark Hammond. The appointment took place on HMAS Sydney, DDG-42, while in port at Fleet Base East, Sydney, and the appointment lasts indefinitely or until terminated by the RAN. 139. Altercations. Crowe escorted from NYPD in handcuffs to his arraignment for the phone-throwing incident, June 6, 2005. Between 1999 and 2005, Crowe was involved in 4 altercations. These altercations gave him a reputation for having a bad temper. 140. In 1999, Crowe was involved in an altercation with a woman at the Plantation Hotel in Coffs Harbour. He was caught on a security camera kissing a man who was trying to placate him. 141 Two men were acquitted of using the video in an attempt to blackmail him. 142. In 2002, when part of Crowe's appearance at that year's BAFTA Awards was cut out to fit into the BBC's tape-delayed broadcast, Crowe used strong language during an argument with producer Malcolm Jerry. The part cut was a Patrick Kavanagh poem in tribute to actor Richard Harris, which was cut for copyright reasons. Crowe later apologized, saying, "What I said to him may have been a little bit more passionate than now, in the cold light of day, I would have liked it to have been." 143. Later in 2002, Crowe was alleged to have been involved in a brawl with businessman Eric Watson inside the London branch of Zuma, a Japanese restaurant chain. The fight was broken up by English actor Ross Kemp. 144-145. In June 2005, Crowe was arrested and charged with second-degree assault by the NYPD after he threw a telephone at the concierge of the Mercer Hotel who had refused to help him place a call when the system did not work from Crowe's room. He was also charged with fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon, the telephone. 146. The concierge was treated for a facial laceration. 147. Crowe later described the incident as possibly the most shameful situation that I've ever gotten myself in. 148. Crowe pleaded guilty and was conditionally discharged. Before the trial, he settled a lawsuit filed by the concierge, Nestor Estrada. 149. 150. Terms of the settlement were not disclosed, but amounts in the six-figure range have been reported. 151. The telephone incident had a generally negative impact on Crowe's public image, an example of negative public relations in the mass media, although Crowe had made a point of befriending Australian journalists in an effort to influence his image. 152. The South Park episode The New Terrence and Phillip movie trailer revolves around a lampooning of his aggressive tendencies. Crowe commented on the ongoing media coverage in November 2010, during an interview with American television talk show host and journalist Charlie Rose, "I think it indelibly changed me. It was a very, very minor situation that was made into something outrageous. More violence was perpetrated on me walking between the car to the courtroom with the waiting media than anything I'd done. It very definitely affected me, psychologically." 153. In October 2016, Azealia Banks filed a police report against Crowe, claiming that he choked and spat at her before proceeding to call her a nigger during a party in his hotel suite. However, the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office dropped the case in December. The following year, during an interview with The Breakfast Club, RZA, who was himself at the party, acknowledged only Banks' claim that Crowe had spat, though on the floor rather than at her directly, going on to condemn her alleged obnoxious and erratic behavior. 154-155. Crowe asserted that he removed Banks from the premises because she had threatened to physically assault other attendees. 156. RZA denied hearing Crowe use racial slurs and confirmed Crowe's account of threats of violence by Banks, saying Banks threatened to cut a girl in the face with a glass, then actually grabbed a glass and physically attacked for no logical reason. Russell blocked the attack and removed her from the suite. 157. Filmography and awards. Main articles: Russell Crowe filmography and list of awards and nominations received by Russell Crowe. Crowe's most acclaimed and highest grossing films, according to the online portal Box Office Mojo and the review aggregate site Rotten Tomatoes, include L.A. Confidential, 1997, The Insider, 1999, Gladiator, 2000, A Beautiful Mind, 2001, Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World, 2003, 3:10 to Yuma, 2007, State of Play, 2009, Robin Hood, 2010, Les Miserables, 2012, Man of Steel, 2013, Noah, 2014, The Nice Guys, 2016, The Mummy, 2017,